right. Jermall Charlo sends a message to Ryan Garcia, and he ain't never lied about what he tells Ryan Garcia. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back. So, Ryan Garcia, up-and-coming star from Goldenboy Promotions, who fights for Goldenboy Promotions and is quite upset about the pay that he receives from Goldenboy Promotions. Now, this ain't the first, and he said this recently, and he was actually set for a card to fight on a card on one of these I think he might have been set to fill, maybe is it his own card? I don't know if it wouldn't be an ESPN card, but anyway, there's some Goldenboy card coming up that he received an offer of like $200,000 to fight on that card, right? Now, Ryan Garcia feels like, hey man, that's chump change for me. I'm the popular guy. You need to pay me my money. So, you know, he ain't feeling all that. He's not feeling all that furlough pay, right? Now, Jermall Charlo reaches out to him. Now, why would Jermall Charlo reach out to Ryan Garcia about the fact that Goldenboy ain't paying up? Well, that's because Jermall Charlo used to be a Goldenboy fighter. Some people don't remember this, so let me go through it. You know, let me go through and give you the background and why Jermall Charlo used to be a Goldenboy fighter, and some other fighters used to be. A lot of other fighters used to be Goldenboy fighters, like Abner Mares used to be a Goldenboy fighter. Errol Spence Jr., I do believe, early in his career was fighting on. I think that he was fighting on Goldenboy cards. Sean Porter was definitely fighting on Goldenboy cards. Keith Thurman was fighting on Goldenboy cards. They were Goldenboy. Deontay Wilder was signed with Goldenboy. Most of these guys, these top PBC fighters, were signed with Goldenboy. But why aren't they signed with Goldenboy anymore? Because Oscar De La Hoya had his nose in a pile of flour and didn't know what was going on, and lost all his fighters to the PBC because as he signed them, because as they were getting signed to Goldenboy Promotions, they were really getting signed to Al Haymon under advisory contracts, and then fighting on Goldenboy cards, right? So they were never locked down. As soon as they got whatever, as soon as PBC was ready to leave, or the PBC started up, then Al Haymon had all those fighters signed to him and took them all with him. And as a result, they left. But what happened? What happened is Jermall Charlo said, look, when I was with Goldenboy, I was getting $100,000 a fight. But when I moved to the PBC, then my money went up 10 times. So Ryan, get away from Goldenboy and go sign with the PBC. And let me assure you, there's no better match for Ryan Garcia than the PBC. No better match. Now, they might not have a big, if your dream is to be Canelo Alvarez, remember this. Canelo Alvarez came up fighting with PBC fighters. The only reason and matter of fact, he was one of the very few guys that did not make, because he wasn't signed to Al Haymon. I'm not sure who his manager is. Didn't take the shift to the PBC. But look at who the people were he fought when he was building himself all the way up to become Canelo Alvarez. He was fighting guys like Austin Trout, fighting guys like Eris Landy Lara and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and the like. And as a result, he blew up. And actually, he was kind of like, and you can listen to some of the interviews from Floyd Mayweather Jr. who will tell you, and he's salty. He's like, lack of loyalty, a disloyal Oscar or whatever, because it was Floyd Mayweather Jr. who built up, in large part, built up Canelo Alvarez, because he was fighting on the undercards for Floyd Mayweather Jr. And Floyd Mayweather Jr. had the option to let the dude fight on the undercard or not. But because he could have had his own fighters, Mayweather Promotions, but he said, oh no, we're going to do Canelo Alvarez because Canelo Alvarez is this, the obvious thing. He's this he's a European looking Mexican that can fight. So we'll put him up there and we'll build him up that way. But then when after that happened, then he defected over to HBO. And the reason he's getting paid by HBO, that he's getting paid by Goldenboy, is because he's the only fighter at Goldenboy of that level of significance, right? So it's like, Goldenboy is not 1/10 of what it was when Deontay Wilder and Porter and those guys were fighting for Goldenboy. Now, why could they pay them more money? Now, and see, this is something I think it's important that people understand. The PBC fighters are going to continue to make more money than fighters on average, like for the same level of fight that they're taking. They're going to always make more money than the top ranked fighters, than the Goldenboy Promotions fighters. And that is because, and that's going to remain the case even when the money for everybody else drops. So like they're paying like Ryan Garcia. They're paying Ryan Garcia less money, right? Well, we got to only give you $200,000. Well, why is that? Because there's no gate, right? There's no gate. And Goldenboy itself has to take its promotional fees, the managerial fees that they have associated with that. They take all that stuff out. And the reason why these guys were getting bigger paydays on DAZN is because DAZN was paying these big huge site fees. Well, with the PBC, because Al Haymon takes a smaller amount of the fight as a managerial fight, right? And if it doesn't meet, and if the money your purse doesn't match your threshold, he doesn't take anything. And that's probably the feature of it, as long as he has it in place with an individual fighter, that is going to mean that the fighter is going to get a bigger chunk of the money that's there. Because say their minimum is $200,000, right? Well, $200,000 is, if he wants you to fight for 150, then he's not going to take a fee out, right? And if I think his fee is like 10%. Some managers' fees are as high as 30%. And promoters' fees are way up there, where half of that money can walk up out of the fighter's pocket. But in the PBC, since they don't take the money out for those fees, even if there's less money in the pot, you're still getting a higher percentage of the money that's in the pot. So there you go. Now, as far as signing, another reason why Ryan Garcia probably should sign with PBC is because you don't have the problem. You're not going to have the problems that you have with Oscar. Like with him saying that Oscar, he's like, Oscar's being a hater, saying this stuff, whatever issues he's got with Oscar running his mouth. You're not going to have that with Al Haymon, because Al Haymon is a professional and Oscar De La Hoya is not. Now, let me say that very clearly. Al Haymon is a professional. Oscar De La Hoya is not. Oscar De La Hoya is somebody with a big name that's got some managers that are working for him and doing it, but as how far as he carries himself in the public, dude is very, very unprofessional, man. He shows up to conferences high, like you can see your reflection like all throughout his eyeballs and shit. That's just so glassy and sweaty and stuff like that, dude. That dude clearly is having, like some of the issues that have remained. And that when your job is to represent a fighter, you call that unprofessional. If you had somebody that was at your job and they walked into the job and they were high, you would be like, dude, that is very unprofessional, man. Why don't you go home? Don't come back, because we got serious things we're trying to take care of here, and your head is up in the sky. That's just very, very unprofessional. So not only does the pay structure make more sense for Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia specifically, because Ryan Garcia, guess what? Fox, they're with Fox. They're not with DAZN, when you don't know when these dudes are going to come back and whether they're going to go away. And you hear all this stuff going on with Daniel Kinahan over there with MTK Global, and man, you don't know what's going on over there, man. I would think after we find out that Daniel Kinahan, that Tyson Fury connection, dude, it's time to go. Okay, because that whole house of cards may come down at any point in time, dude. That whole thing, DAZN, MTK Global, all that stuff, dude, that shit is ripe for ripe for turnover. When you see how that particular situation went down and how the deal between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua probably got shut off because of the, what is it, KHK, the Bahrainian, Bahrainian, I don't know if you call it Bahrainian or not, the company from Bahrain. We'll do that in another video. But the long and short of it is that your boy Ryan Garcia would be much better off with the PBC. And another piece of example is that it's not just Ryan Garcia. It's not just Jermall Charlo that said that. You can listen to the way, like, how Leo Santa Cruz is treated. If you want to coast out your career and not fight anybody significant, look at the career of Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz was able to manage his own career out of all those dangerous fights, but he kept getting paydays for years and years and years. But then Abner Mares talks about how he was treated by Goldenboy versus how he's treated by the PBC, man. Like, hey, dude, Ryan, you need to bounce, homie. You need to bounce. You need to bounce over there to the PBC, get yourself some more money, get off of the zone, go to Fox, where they can air you, where they can put you on TV, where everybody can see you, okay? Not over there on the zone where, maybe some people will see you. Maybe a small percentage of your fan base can see you. It's almost a no-brainer for Ryan Garcia to go over there to the PBC. But that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think, and with that, I'm out. Peace.